it. And then at the moment that he gets there and he starts to talk to people, people said, what? No, I'm not going to go through this. No, but it was a beautiful thing. That this is words. And they go, no, I'm happy here. No, I'm okay here. But you can't be okay in this little pond. You know, there was other things going on. And he couldn't convince anybody else to go with him and to explore this wonderful world that he saw it. And that's how he ended the story. So what is he was trying to tell us? That maybe, just maybe, we are this little fish on the pond. That we are so attached to the five senses that we see, that we touch, that we don't even access the cosmic beings that we really are, because we're so satisfied with what the five senses can provide to our lives. And I'm not saying that you cannot experience whatever it is that is in the five senses, you know, nothing like, you know, the feeling of a smell, of hearing things and seeing things. But we have to at least be aware that there is something beyond the five senses that we experience. Because otherwise we're going to live our whole life in the pond. When you look at what the information that science can provide us today, we think, oh my God, this planet that we live in, you know, it's a little bit of a sand on the beach. There is so much more out there to explore. We talk about Jupiter. Spiritist has this thing that says, my next life, I want to be in Jupiter. I don't want to reincarnate in Earth anymore. I'm going to Jupiter. No, but what do we know about Jupiter? Jupiter is a gas planet. It's gas only. This means that you're not going to feel anything under it. It's a gas planet. Can we try to imagine that? How is that I'm going to live on a gas planet? You know, and all other planets that it's out there, you know, there are billions of suns out there. Do we really know what that means? What is the sun to us? How much bigger is the sun compared to the earth? Right? The size, millions. Do we have it? Can we try to grasp that? That there is suns out there in the universe that is 10 times bigger than our sun. Or 10,000 or thousands. So there is so much out there. And I'm only talking about the material part of this. But what do we care? We about? Are we worried about what other people are doing? We're talking about this in our class. Are we worried about social media? There is so much to explore, to know, to maybe learn from, to read scientific articles. There is so much there, but we're interested in Instagram. We're interested in see what other people are doing and eating and where they're going to vacation. That is literally staying in a pond. One thing that is gonna take us out of this pond is curiosity. We need to be able to be curious about other things. If we're satisfied in the pond, we're gonna remain in the pond. We're never gonna explore anything else within us. You know what this body is made of? Do you guys have any idea? Everything that our body is made, do we know where it comes from? Anybody? Do we know where this comes from? All the proteins of the iron, everything that made our body, do you know where it comes from? No? From the stars. From the universe. Exactly. Whatever it's made, you know, the sun is made, the moon is made, the planet is made. It made us. It's part of us. So when we learn, it's so beautiful when we say, we are cosmic beings. We literally are. Imagine a cosmic being living in a pond. The many things, the possibilities that it's out there within us. I don't know the limits. You don't know the limits. Maybe it's boundless. But we want to remain in a pond. It's like a prison to us, this little pond. And the pond has spiritual center, you know, has school, work. Being spiritual or come to a spiritual center does not mean that you're out of the pond. Because the pond, when you go out of the pond, I mean when you experience something and lots of things beyond the five senses that you have. Okay? How do we know? Think about that. How do we know how the animals communicate? We rely so much on the mental, the thoughts, the words. This is what we think communication is. But think about the animals. How is that your dog knows that you're coming home? How do you know that your cat knows? Because they know. Because at the moment that you go in, they're right there waiting for you. And when you have a camera, you know that they know when you're going to get home, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before you arrive. Think about, we have to ask ourselves those questions. We have to be curious about other things than this life that we live, that go to work, come back, and look at social media, sleep. We have to be able to ask questions, because that's how we start to get out of the pond. We have to ask the right question. How does an animal communicate? They don't speak. It's gotta be something else. How does the plant communicate with each other? They do. You guys know that, right? So there was a research that when the elephants start to eat a little leaves, the one leaves talk to the other trees, and they start to make the leaf a little bit bitter, so the elephant won't eat it. That is what? Communication. That is what? Connection. But beyond connection is communicated. But we give too much importance of the intellectual part of us. Look at our school system. Do you remember everything that you studied for a big test years ago? No, you don't. But who is considered smart those days is people that have what? Memory. If you can retain an information, then I give it to you, you're considered smart. But there is something else within us. That pure intelligence that has nothing to do with memory, that you can see. You can see in animals. If you think that the ants are dumb, it's because you never pay attention to them. They know what they're doing very well. There's this little bird here in the United States that they wanted to find out where they go every year, where they migrate. They go to Brazil. They fly thousands of miles to go to Brazil in the summer, away from the cold. What did they figure it out? That those birds know when we're going to have a hurricane season here in the United States. Their timing is different. So how does the bird know that the hurricane's coming, but we have to rely on the news to know? Those are questions we have to ask ourselves. We are losing something. We are getting so attached to the mental way of life, being on the phone, the smartphone, getting so much information, about things that it's related to memory. Because we want to look good when we talk on a dinner table with friends. We want to give so much information because that's going to make us cool and knowledgeable. That we forget to explore within. When we talk about explore within, we're going to talk about the infinite within. The possibilities within. You look at big messenger from 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, that they have more information about the space and about the stars than the science today. How do they know? They never got a spaceship and went out there, but they went within. You are made of stars. It means that all the information that it's out there, it's within you. But how do we look for answers in life? Outside. You give me the answer. I don't go searching with within these billions of years of everything that it's within us. But the main thing, that the question that we have to ask ourselves is why we're not doing this. Because we are very comfortable in a pond. And like we talk about it in a study group today, if you are comfortable on a pond, it's fine. Just be aware that you're comfortable on a pond. That you're not interested, that you don't have any curiosity about other things in life besides the everyday things, that you're not interested in connecting with the infinite that resides within you. You're not interested, and it's okay too. It's okay too. The only problem is that when we think that we have curiosity and we don't, that's a problem. Because that creates conflict within you. You want to pretend that you care, that we care about spirituality, but we don't. We just want every single problem that we have to be solved. So we can live in this pond happily in the best way we can. And it's okay too. As long as we are aware of our motivation. The other day I was thinking about that. And that creates new ideas with you. We have to be able to think about things that we don't think about every day. If you create a thought today that you never had yesterday, that's a wonderful thing. That's going to move your neural ways to other things other than the pond, other than the everyday life on the pond. So the other day I was thinking about that. I was like, I was wondering how it is if you are in the moon and you're able to see Earth from the moon. Wow, that must be wonderful. Things that you can say, that you can think of, saying, wow, I was wondering. I was wondering if it's maybe a different way that we can communicate with ourselves besides word. What is this? Like I said, the animals. This is pretty interesting stuff that we can at least generate a thought about it. I wonder how this ant is intelligent. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder how they live in lives. I wonder what they think about us. I wonder how the ant perceives us. I wonder how my cat, my dog perceives me. You see, there's a deeper questions to be asked instead of, I wonder what the other person ate for lunch. Because that's what social media tells you, what other people are doing in the everyday life. That puts you deep on the pond. But let me tell you something, it gets a point that in the pond, life becomes a conflict. And if you don't get out of the pond to have a different perspective, at least, at what life means, be careful, because we might become depressed and with anxiety, because we want to live a whole cosmic life inside of a pond. And then when there is so much to explore within, even any other things that are so interesting, how much we can learn with the animals, with the plants, with the other beings that surround us. How come a dog can hear a song that you cannot? Okay. They can hear things that you cannot. What is that they're hearing that you cannot hear? Maybe it's a type of communication. And then we're going to explore our intuition. That is beyond the 5 senses. But without curiosity, without observation, without understanding what's going on around you, without asking the right questions to open your mind. Remember that Andre Louis story that he says that the little wall and the little hole for the redfish was very thin to pass through it? It's not gonna, the pond, it's not gonna open to the ocean for you. You have to go through it. But first, you have to bring the idea that I want to get out. You have to recognize that you are in a prison right now. We are in a prison. The pond is a prison. And we have to do the work. We have to go to the street. We have to get out of 90% of the population is interested on it. 90, maybe even more. You see how hard it is for you to go in a party and talk to other people that are interested in what you are interested? Is it easy to find? No, it's not. What are that they're talking about when you go out and see other people? They're talking about what? Talking about the food, right? That's what? Taste. They're talking about what they heard, right? That's the other 5 senses. They're talking about what they can smell, what they can see with their own eyes, what they can touch. Those are the 5 senses. But when you get out of the pond, and you at least see a little bit of what the real world has to offer, you will be amazed. But how amazed this life here on earth is. Technology, right? We are afraid of the new AI that is going to actually take the jobs away from millions of people. And that's true. You know, maybe in 50 years, who's going to drive? The computer. Who can do the talk like I'm doing here? The computer. Who can sweep, the computer? Anything the computers, the doctors. You can go in the doctor's office and say, I'm feeling this and this and this, order some tests, and then you come back, and then this is artificial intelligence. And a lot of people are very afraid of what the future holds. I'm not one of them. Because we're very comfortable in the pond. Most people are. And when you get out of the pond, that's the time maybe you realize that, okay, if I don't have to work 40 hours a week, maybe I can work with myself. Maybe I can go within. Maybe I can find something else. Maybe I can go in and look for things that I'm really interested. I don't know. I don't know what could happen. The only thing that I know is that we need to get in that little hole. We need to take the first step. And my invitation for you tonight is only one, that I know that it works. Generate new thoughts every single day about things that you never thought before. If you thought about it, it's not it. Think about new things. Ask questions that you don't know the answer, but just ask that question and be curious about that. That is the one little recipe in how we can start to get out of the pond and live to our full potential. We are spirits, we are divine. There is so much that it's actually waiting for us to access. For us to be attached to the everyday life, to the everyday problems of life, because there's a lot of issues in the pond. There's a lot of conflict in the pond and issues that only if you get out of that, you will have a different vision to it. Okay? So thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions? No? We're good? All right. Have a wonderful night.
That is such powerful questions for us to be thinking about, is to ask ourselves questions that we don't know the answer to. I don't know how many of us are in the habit of doing that, but I'm not. So it's really